Hey everyone, welcome back to the Catch Me Offroad YouTube channel. Today we are going to be doing a few things. We're going to be prepping the truck for tomorrow. I'm actually going to be doing some off-roading with a few friends, just 3 or 4 of us going to the St. Helen, Michigan ORV trails. So in order to do that, we need to prep the truck like I normally do for events. I'm going to show everyone what that looks like because I just realized I've never really made a video of it. So in a nutshell, we're going to be swapping the 37s out with the 35-inch stock tires and wheels. The reason for that is, as I've mentioned in some of my previous videos, these wheels have an offset that will, and in addition to the tire size being larger diameter than the stock 35s, the wheels offset also will cause, so the tire sticks out more and it sits up higher. And if you look right up, you can see the path of the tire that it's going to travel. It's going to run right into these fenders, and it will probably do some pretty big damage if the truck is jumped and lands in full compression. So the rears aren't as bad. I've had them tucked. I've done tuck tests where I get the tire to flex all the way up inside, and it actually sits really well in there. So I'm not really concerned with the rear. There's just a lot more room in the rear fender than there is at the front side. You can see all my rubber chunks still on there from doing burnouts last weekend. So we'll swap the tires out with the 35s, which are sitting in my nasty garage right now. Sorry, it's a mess. We will also be adding my radio in here, and I don't have a permanent setup yet like I did with my Gen 2 Raptor. I had a nice antenna mount that went back here in the stake pockets, actually on that side, but the wires were all ran inside the body of the truck and in through the back, and the radio was hard mounted inside the center console. It was a really nice setup. Unfortunately, I don't have that for this truck, but I do have something cool that I'm hesitant to go to the full, permanent setup, just because there's so many compromises with how it looks and drilling holes and things like that. So my cool setup right now, I'll show you in a second, is a suction cup mounted antenna that goes on the back. It actually has a light on it, and that's made by, I believe the company is called CKL Chase Lights. Awesome company, highly recommended. And they make little suction cup lights. I'll show you them in a second. But anyway, we're going to put the light on there with the radio, tires, and then we're going to add my toolbox to the back of the truck, to the bed, and strap it down really nice. And that has some recovery gear in it. It has some tools, etc. So those are the main things we're going to be trying to do today. We'll also charge my radio. I need to charge that and check our HPA tanks. It's an air tank that we use. I'll show you that too. We use it for airing up tires, airing up, airing down. There's accessories you can use, like jacks that are airbag jacks that lift the truck up if you're on the trail. A lot of other accessories you can use, impact, anything that's air powered tools. So I'll show that as well. But for now, let me also real quickly walk you through my new parts, that some of the new ones came in. So this is one of the tires. This is the other one. And these are Aturo Trailblade Boss tires. That's their most aggressive one they have. And this one, the size right there, is a 37, 13.5 R18. So it's 13.5 wide, a little wider than most tires for this application. And they're 37, so they're an inch larger than the factory 35s, approximately. So those are the tires. And then in the back of the truck right now, I will show you the tire bed cage, which came in tire chase rack. It's sitting right in there, as you can see. And I don't want to open this all the way up, but just give you an idea of what it looks like. This is how it's raw right now. Obviously, you can see some surface rust starting to form on it because it's not been treated. But I'm taking it up tomorrow on the way to off-roading. I'm supposed to be dropping it off at the powder coater. So hopefully the next time you see it, it'll be black, but it should sit in the truck very similar to how it is right now. I was kind of setting it in there for fitment. So that's pretty much what it'll look like. And it's removable too, which is really nice. 454 Motorsports make it. So let's go ahead and move the truck to the center of the garage so I can swap the tires. Here's a cold start for you. So the truck is in position, but I'm actually going to swap things around. I'm going to wait to do the tires because my buddy Mo just called and said he's on his way over. I'll wait till he gets here to help me with the hard work and all the easy stuff before then. So I figured I'd show you guys what's in my box that I have for my tools and stuff in the bed. I upgraded to this box from one of those Home Depot ones with the yellow caps. This one's made by a company called Flambeau. I think I got it on Amazon. I can't remember what the price was, maybe $100, somewhere around there. Very sturdy compared to my last one. It has these nice metal latches that are capable of locking as well. You can put a padlock on there if you wanted. Obviously I have the bed cover, so I don't really need that. But the cool thing about it that I like is it also has this really nice handle and wheels on that side. So you can roll it around when I'm, taking it in and out of the truck or out on the trails or whatever. So it's very nice. It does have padlock spots here too in the top. So let's take a look inside, and I've emptied a lot of the stuff out. But, sorry, I'll try not to make you dizzy. It's got this little removable section right here. I have a few adjustable wrenches, a little cheap Harbor Freight voltmeter. I have some adapters going from 3/8 to quarter and quarter to, or in 3/8 to ½ inch, things like that. Little Harbor Freight tools. I usually, all my old tools I put in my truck toolkit. Let's open this guy up, see what I have in here. So I have some old school walkie-talkies with a charger, and then a lot of tire repair supplies right here, and they're in a Ziploc bag just to keep them from drying out. And there's some patch and plug kits, things like that in here. Some tire goop. I have some electrical tape, a box cutter, and a few other small items, gloves, things like that. So this part's removable. And inside here I have a nice, this is my backup tow strap. I have another one in the back of the truck somewhere. I have a breaker bar, some channel locks, adjustable wrench, some snips, Allen wrenches, some more adjustables down here in this corner, some more adjustable or impact adapters. Didn't even realize I had those. Jumper cables right here, and then yet another tow strap. So I think I have 2 or 3 tow straps in this truck. And then if we come over here, I have a little cheap shovel that someone gave me as a gift, which I actually had to use once and it worked pretty well. It's one of those shovel and axe and saw blade 10-in-1 type deals. They're pretty cheap, usually $25-30 on Amazon. I have some open-end wrenches here, and they have the cool clickety clicks on the other side, ratcheting side. This is very useful. I use these all the time, and we'll use these for the tires today. It's a 4 or 5 piece socket set for different sizes, and one of these is the right lug nut. I think it's the purple one is the lug nut size on this truck. So this is a very useful thing to have. That's actually that's an artifact from my Gen 2. It's a CV boot repair kit. I've had to use some of these on the trails before. I carry this along just to recover broken down Raptors, which are pretty common. No, I'm just kidding, guys. I have this really cheap lamp also that I realized I used it when the power was out a few weeks ago and the battery's completely dead. So I'm going to try to replace this with with one that has rechargeable batteries of some sort, some lithium ion or something like that. And then the most important part of the whole toolkit is the actual toolkit. This one I looked all over the internet for a decent one. Stanley's a decent one. Not perfect quality, but it's not a snap-on or something like that, but it does the trick. It has all of your metric and standard sizes in it, and the nice thing about this one is it comes with screwdrivers, because I didn't want to have to carry a separate kit for screwdrivers and these little tools right here. So have all those in there. Second box cutter. It has some wrenches up here at the top, and then it also has a whole array of nice little accessories that can be used on either a screwdriver or one of the wrenches. So also has a tape measure, some more Allen keys. So yeah, this is a pretty nice tool set. I'm happy with it. I've used it a ton already. It's not too heavy, and it fits in my box pretty nicely. And then if we look over here, some paper towels, and this is very useful. Not many people do this, but when you're off-roading, everything's bouncing around in here. So I like to stuff the top, the open areas, with some sort of wrapping paper or whatever, packaging paper, and it helps keep stuff from bouncing around and getting damaged. And then those are the green straps that I use to strap this whole thing down. So I'm going to go ahead and put everything back in here, show you what it looks like before we button it up and put it in the back of the truck. Alright, and there's the final product. I have everything packed in here. Got my little paper up on top, and we're going to close that guy up and put it in the back of the truck. Alright, and the box is in the bed. Don't ask me why I'm out of breath. I'm a little out of shape, but here's how it looks. So I set it right up against the front of the bed, and I run one strap over the top, and it actually sits in this nice ridge,
and kind of pulls. This gap will shrink up a little bit, and once we start moving, this will pull like that, and that holds it from going forward and backwards. And then this one also does the same thing, just on the front side, and I wrap it around the tire right here to make sure it doesn't move right and left as well. And of course, one last thing to do, you gotta tug on these and say, yep, that ain't going nowhere. Now it's all set. Normally when we have snow runs, I'll put the, I usually put a shovel behind there, kind of pinch it between the box and the bed. And what else do I put back there? Sometimes traction boards, just depends on what we're doing, but you can throw all sorts of stuff back there. You can also strap gas cans down in the sides when you have it this way. One thing I don't like about the Ram that the Raptor had was it had 6 bed bolts that were held down through right here through the top of the bed. The Rams are held on by the bottom, so there's no bolts. It looks clean, it looks nice. It's great for you know, hauling stuff, but if you want to have accessories mounted to it, we used to put, you could pull out the bed bolts, put a little D-ring on them, and use that to strap stuff down with, you know, put the bed bolt back in. So we could have 6 tie downs, and you could put a spare tire back here, strap it down, do whatever you wanted, all sorts of stuff. This one only has, the Ram only has, you know, one here, one there, one there, and one there, the 4 corners. And you can buy a bed, I think there's a package that came with a bed group or something that has rails that run along the back, kind of like the Ford does, but I really liked having that option. So hopefully, I gotta get this guy loaded back up in here, but when I put that in, it will have 4 plates that I might be able to use to mount stuff to when that's not in there. Or worst case, I use that to mount stuff. You know, that whole middle section I don't really have a plan for right now. I'll have a tire right here, a tire right there, and then the middle section will be empty, so I can put gas cans in it or whatever else I want. So, and then the toolbox will probably be towards the back of the bed. So that's the bed setup. We're pretty much done with that. Let's move on to the next step. All right, the bed is closed up. We're now working our way around to the inside of the truck. We're gonna fold up the seats. I have a ton of these that I haven't really showed in any videos previously, but I have a ton of these Mole, I don't know how you pronounce it. You guys probably know better than I do. The truck comes stock with these little fabric ones right here, which are super cool. You can clip bags just like these. You can order them off Amazon or wherever else. You buy these bags that have Velcro on some sides of them. Some of them have just the loops on the back like this one does. And you can clip them using clips like this or whatever else you want onto these guys. Or you can put your own Velcro ones on here so they're hidden out of the way. I don't like people kicking them and stepping on them and stuff. So I put them under the seats where they're out of the way. They don't interfere with this when they fold down, the little bed divider thing. And I keep, like this one right here, for example, is for the stuff I use the most off-roading. So here's my backup radio, handheld radio. I'm going to take that inside and charge it because the battery's dead. I have a screwdriver if I need it, a little flashlight, a little tire pressure guy. I have another battery-powered one, which I actually need to change the battery on this too, so I'm going to leave that out there. I have an EpiPen in case anyone gets an allergic reaction. And this right here is the tire lug nut adapter, which I'm actually going to be taking out because we're going to use that to remove these wheels. Also a little charging cable, a couple charging cables for anything that we need. That's really all I wanted to take out. Over here we also have, I have one for medication, more EpiPen, inhaler, things like that, some medicines in there. I have a couple more over there. One of them has things for fuses, nuts and bolts, and other miscellaneous items. And then one of them is for like Loctite, glue, duct tape, adhesives, things like that. And I can't remember what the last one's for. I'd have to go open it. One might be empty. I also carry a little fire extinguisher down here that I need to get mounted. It has a little plastic mount. That's just for safety. Always carry that with you if you can. I have my main antenna that I'll be putting on today. And then I have my backup antenna, which is actually an old one that just broke. And it doesn't work great, but it works. So I've gone through a dozen of these. This style, it's called the Comet SBB25. Excellent antenna, really great SWR characteristics, great range. Everything about it I liked, except the fact that they always break. I've broken off down here in the middle, especially when it gets cold. They get very brittle because it's kind of a sturdy antenna. It doesn't like to flex so much, and they just break off on the trails. So I went to this style right here. My buddy Zach, Engine Envy on Instagram, he actually recommended running this Browning one because it has a spring in it and it's super bendy, as you can see. So this one works great. It's still bent the end of it. You can see it's not quite straight, but I've had this one for about a year, where those only last about a month. So, and it's a lot cheaper. I think this one's like a $30 or $40 antenna if I remember correctly. So this is the next thing I wanted to show is our Midwest Off-Road Expeditions branded HPA systems. Lightweight air, heavyweight performance. Awesome company. Can't say enough good things about them. They're
founders come to a lot of our events, almost all of our events actually. They sponsor our group as well, which is super cool of them. This is what the setup looks like currently. I'm going to try to take it out with one hand. Actually, I'm going to hit pause real quick. All right, I kind of pulled out the tank. So it has a sleeve on it. It says HPA Systems, cool logo, very nice. I don't know if this is neoprene or what it's called. Kind of protects the tank because inside it's like basically a CO2 scuba type tank. Fiberglass, carbon fiber, very, very strong. And what this is an air tank, but it's not like your power tank or other lower quality tanks. This one, well, I don't want to say lower quality. They're just a different intended use, I think. This one is not CO2. It compresses pure air, so you can actually get it filled readily. You know, its filling stations are readily available. It's designed here in the US. Sorry guys, my phone rang, and while I was on the phone I realized this video is gonna get a little long. I just figured I should probably give an update on this when I go off-roading tomorrow or the next day or some other time. But I just wanted to point out that this is the air tank we use, HPA Systems, awesome people, check out their products. And I'll show you guys how it works at another time. It's really cool actually. So now I'm gonna go ahead and pack this guy up, put my stuff on the charger, and hopefully we'll get started on the light and antenna install on the back. Stay tuned. Radio is on the charger, and put new AAA Energizer batteries into this guy. Sorry, the screen's a little bright. Into my tire pressure monitoring guy. This is just a backup. Actually, I have like 3 backups. The main one I use is by HPA Systems. I'll show that soon. I want to talk about this real quick though. This and my other radio, they're both VHF radios. 2-meter frequency is what we use, which is they're called MURS, M-U-R-S frequencies, and they're unlicensed, so you don't have to have a license to operate them. They're usually used by places like when truck drivers are backing into a loading dock. They're using these frequencies, and other local businesses, and you're only allowed to transmit within, I think it's 3 watts, which is, they say roughly 1 watt is equal to 1 mile. That's just kind of rough rule of thumb. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's my understanding of it. So you're not supposed to use them for high frequency or high power scenarios. This radio actually, I believe, is like I want to say it's an 8 watt. It's a Baofeng, I think, yeah, BF. Let me try to focus on this. BF-F8HP is the model number. This is one of the best handheld radios you can buy. This one has the bigger battery pack, and it has the the older antenna. There's actually a new one with a longer antenna you can get. There's also the UV-5R by Baofeng, and that one is a lot cheaper. It's about $25, maybe $30 on Amazon. This one's closer to 80 or 90 or maybe even 100, depending on what the price is now. But this one has, I think both of them are up to 8 watts or so, somewhere around there. Maybe they're 5 watts. So they're decent for a little, handheld. They'll reach maybe a mile in range when you're in the woods, if that. But our bigger radios, the VHF radios we run, they are usually 40, 50, 60, 70 watts, depending on which model you have. Some of them even up to 100 or 120. I think mine is a 60 or 55 watt. I'll show you that in a second. Back into the super messy garage. And of course the hottest day of the year to do this, but this is the radio I use in the truck, and it is also a cheapie, but works really well, has good reviews. You can look them up. TYT, I think it's like a T9000D. I think there's a 9000D and there's a 9800. This is the 9000. It's the cheaper of the two. Oh, here it is. Yep, I was right, man. My memory's good. There it is. TH9000D. 65 watts power, you can see right there, and it goes from 136 to 174 megahertz on the frequency, which is VHF, and we run right in the I want to say 150 to 155 range, which is 2-meter band, and that's the reason we use, your antenna needs to be a certain, half wavelength or 3/8 or 5/8 wavelength antenna. I want to say mine is 5/8, I think. Sorry, I don't know a lot about ham radio operation. I took a class a while ago, and it's been years, so look that up or check out other videos if you want more information on that. I'm not the right person for this, sorry. I know how to use it, and that's about it. This is the cool CKL Chase Light setup, and sorry it's all a mess right now. It's been sitting in the garage collecting dust for a couple months. It actually is a suction cup, double suction cup mount, and it has this nice amber, rear-facing amber on it, and I built this little metal extending thing to put my NMO mount on there, and that's where my antenna sticks out from. And actually tomorrow the way we're going to run it is without using this amber, because I have ambers on the truck. This setup, as a backstory, I bought this setup to use on that red F-150 that you guys have seen in my other videos. Is my backup vehicle when my other truck isn't available. So I slap this on the back, plug in this, and we're good to go. Since this truck already has the rear ambers, I'm not going to use this amber. But the way it's wired right now is it just goes off this little piggyback to this guy, and you plug it into your cigarette lighter outlet, and you have an on-off switch right there with a spider web on it. So that's how you turn on and off the rear amber. We're not even going to plug this in. It's just going to be sitting in the back seat somewhere. This plug right here is what I have my radio, well, not this exact one. I have a splitter since Ram decided to only give you one 12-volt outlet in the front, and I use it for my radar detector. So I bought a little splitter. This one goes in my radar detector, or you can use it on a phone charger, GPS, whatever else you want. And then the other end goes to my radio. And I just made this little wire. Bought this from Amazon, like $5. Splice it in here so I don't have to hardwire it in, and I just plug it in. It's got a little mount on the bottom that you can mount in if you want to, hard mount, but you can see I have double-sided tape that I've used in the past to stick it on in various places. Cable runs out the back of the radio, right there, goes around this little loop-de-doop and into the antenna. Put your antenna right there, and you give it power. You give it the cable feed right there, and here's your handheld little microphone. And it's as simple as that. And that's how you get your radio to work. And one of the guys in our group, Fancy Pants Dan, shout out, he actually bought this for me. It's really useful. You mount this. I had in my Raptor mounted up where my sunglass holder were, near the visors. And your radio will sit up there like that, just like a trucker. And this has a retractable cord in it. So you pull your radio, you let go, and it goes back to where it's at, just for truck. It's made for truck drivers. I also, since the speaker and the radio is not super loud, I actually run this external cheapy Amazon speaker. It was like 30 or 40 or 50 bucks, I can't remember, and it's super loud. And I just run it wired. It's a Bluetooth speaker, but you can also run a little headphone jack, 3.5 millimeter wire. So I got a little wire that runs into here, and I set this in my cup holder when the radio is inside the center console, and I'll show you that in a second. So you can actually listen to this speaker and talk on the microphone while the radio is tucked away inside and you don't see it. It's pretty nice. So this is my whole setup right here. This is a little tram cover for this guy if you want to leave it on the truck all the time and you don't want it getting all rusty. You just cover this little waterproof connector. But that's my setup. I'm going to go ahead and install this right now, and then I'll give you a walkthrough of what everything looks like. Alright guys, I finally got it installed. It took about 10-15 minutes. So the suction cup's going right here, as you can see. The antenna I stuck in there as well, and I just run the two wires. One is for the light, one's for the antenna, obviously. They just run through the back sliding window. They come in here. I tucked them around the back of the seat and right in here. I can actually tuck that in a little better so it doesn't show. And it'll come down between the two seats, the split. That's the two of them. So one of them I just have sitting right there for the light, since we're not using it like I mentioned. We have our rear ambers already. The other one, the black cable, goes down here under the little carpets, the little rubber mats, into there. Go around to the front. It comes up right here and goes inside my center console. Let me open that up real quick and show you what it looks like. Right now I just have the radio sitting in there. I have the cable, and it looks like I don't even have that one plugged in. So I need to plug in my power cable right there, that white one. Good thing I checked again. And then the power cable runs out right here, up along here, and I'm going to secure it here somehow so it's not rubbing all over my screen. And it goes in right here to the one and only 12-volt outlet that we have in the vehicles. We have a ton of USBs and power outlets and everything else, just no other circular accessory outlets. The other half of that goes into my radar detector, which I always run on the way to events. And then my microphone just kind of sits right here. And the speaker I just put on the charger as well, but it'll sit in one of these cup holders or in this front area somewhere. So that's my setup. Pretty easy to use. If I want to change channels, luckily the radio has buttons to, the microphone has buttons to go up and down right there on channels. So we only use usually 4 or 5 channels anyway, MOE 1 through 5 we call them. And that can be easily done from right there on the microphone. And I can open the console to see the screen if I need to read it for any reason. Otherwise it just sits like that. The speaker goes right here and we're good to go. Super easy to use. So that's my setup right now. I'm waiting on Mo. He should be here any minute now, and we're gonna go ahead and get started on the tires next. All right, so my buddy Mo showed up. He's helping me out with the tires. This is the rear of the tire, obviously. We've already done the front one. I'll show you what that looks like right over here. So pretty simple. I don't know if I needed to explain how to swap a tire out, but the jack points, I guess I can show those on the TRX, where you can put a jack. On the front, it's right under the control arm right here. You just slide your jack under there. It's super easy. Even a small jack works. Get it a couple inches off the ground, you're good to go. And then on the rear, he's actually going the wrong way because I haven't given him instructions. Maybe that'll work though, let's look. Yeah, he's in the right spot actually. So that's where you want to be, right under where the shock is, under there. And you actually want to be on the metal actually. I don't know why I said actually twice, but you really want to be on the metal part and not on the shock itself. So I'm going to have him drop that and replace it over here. But that's the jack point on the rear. And I'm using, since the Icon wheels use these longer, the factory lug nuts like this do not fit in there. They're too large. So if you look, see, they don't fit in the hole. They're just huge. So that's what she said. But we're gonna use these. We use these Gorilla, I don't know what they're called, Acorn style or something, splined. That's a comparison of the two. That's what they look like. See how narrow these ones are? They're called the small size. Hit me up if you have questions about them, because I'm not remembering off the top of my head right now what they're called. Actually, this is the box that came in. No, it doesn't say it on there. I think it's just a standard shipping box. Yeah, sorry, I don't have the part number on there, but these are the Gorilla lug nuts we use. And there's actually an adapter like he's using right now to get them off. So we're swapping tires. Once we're done, we'll send a video, or we'll post a video. While we're in the middle of it, I figured I'd show you the size difference between a 35-inch and a 37. So I have the black wheels, factory black wheels on the TRX, but the tires are all the same no matter what wheels you have. There's the wheels. A little dirty right now, but if you put it next to each other, you can all see the thickness difference, or width, between a 35 and a, well, this is a 13.5 wide too. These are closer to like 12.9, I think, wide if you convert it. So there's the difference in tire size. You can see they're pretty substantial. And then obviously a new tire is going to be even bigger. These tires are very new. They only have maybe 1,000 or 2,000 miles on them, the factory ones, and the Aturos probably have about 7,000 or 8,000 on them. So there's your comparison. While we still have the tire off, I wanted to show you what everything looked like back here. So obviously the TRX is a 5-link, 4 links, you know, 1, 2 on the other side, and then there's this guy, the Panhard bar. So they call it a 5-link or a 4-link, some people call it. But I wanted to show you some stuff back here. First of all, my bump stop looks like it's come in contact with something, and that's the first time I've noticed that, so I'll have to look into that. Almost looks like it's maybe hit one of the sides of the coil or something, or maybe something is shot back in there at it when we're off-roading. So, but that's no big deal. That's just a little piece of rubber. The spring still looks good, but the spring spacers that we're going to use actually sit right in here. You take these 2 bolts out, and I'll do that another video on them, but it'll basically sit a 2-inch thick spacer that sits right in here, and it'll push the spring down, thus lifting the back of the truck. We'll do the perch collars up front too. So, but there's the massive shocks in the rear, the Bilstein Blackhawk E squareds. There's some rubber pieces on them from doing burnouts. But that's what the rear suspension on the TRX looks like, in case you're interested. Huge brakes too. I thought I'd do a quick comparison of what the 37s look like. These are 0 offset wheels, which means they stick out 19 millimeters more than the factory. So that's what they look like right there. So that's almost an inch. 25.4 millimeters is an inch, and that's the factory tires. Sorry, the other side was a Turo if I messed that up. Let me close the door too. But you can see these ones, especially in the back, see they kind of stick inwards inboard more, whereas the 37s, wider tire and more offset, they stick out more. You can see quite a bit of difference. So there's your 35s versus 37s. And here's the final product, TRX on 35s. It is all set for off-roading tomorrow. I moved it out of the way just now. I'm actually in a hurry to get out of here. I gotta go pick up the wife's car, but yeah, it looks kind of lame. I don't know what else to say compared to the 37s. It looks so much worse, but whatever. It works good off-road. Get clearance and everything. The spare tire matches up. Anyway, so we're ready to go off-roading tomorrow. I'll make another video. The next video you see hopefully will be the off-roading video. I'll try to get as much footage as I can on my phone. I just don't have a whole lot of time to edit stuff, so I'd like to try to do everything on the phone if I can. That way I can just click the videos together on one of the video editors on my phone and be done with it, versus using Premiere Pro or something like that. So anyway, thank you for watching. Sorry for the long video, and hope it was useful to you. Hit me up in the comments if you have anything to say. Thanks. Bye.